How shall we start this?
Do we not start every podcast with like, hi, I'm Helen Tudor and this is the Ideal Client Attraction Podcast, or not? You can have that. Done. Rocking and rolling, let's go.
Okay, we're back.
We are back.
And we're into today the 3-minute daily practice.
Yeah, this is where we bring it all together.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hand over to the hostess with the mostess for a clear and concise definition for our lovely listeners.
So this is a breakthrough that I had that I want to bring to the world and share with people, because I think with spirituality there's this almost this thing where we have to be in devotional practice in a really significant and serious and time-consuming way, you know? So, it's almost like to be spiritual, we need to sacrifice. We need to change or live a certain kind of way or a certain kind of lifestyle. Well, I haven't really got time for that. So what I realized is that I can actually connect in with myself, in with my soul, in with my higher power, in with my ideal client, in with my offer in a really efficient way. So what I do, this is what now I teach, is as soon as I wake up in the morning, when you're in that kind of like half awake, half asleep kind of sort of place of the day. So you're relaxed, well, you should be relaxed and you're chilled and you're kind of like ready to start the day. But before I start the day, what I do is I don't even get up. I don't do anything particularly special. I don't have a ritual or a special place in my house or a candle or an image, or you can if you want. If that works for you, great. But for me, I just set the intention and close my eyes, hand on my heart, connect in with my heart, take a deep breath, take a couple of deep breaths and set an intention to connect in with myself. So what I do here is do you do this while you're still laying in bed? Still laying in bed.
Still laying in bed, yeah.
So I might have got up and nipped to the toilet and got back in bed, but I'm doing it intentionally. I'm just lying in bed as I am normally. And I just ask myself, how am I doing? How am I feeling? Like, how's my soul today? Like, what do I need today?
Like a check-in.
Just a little check-in.
Yeah.
Very short, very simple. Like, how are you doing? How are you doing today? Like, what do you need today? You know? Almost like conversational with myself. And stay there for a minute.
Right.
I mean, I don't time it, but a few more long, slow, deep breaths, but really connect in with how am I feeling? What do I need today? Like, what's today gonna bring for me, you know? And then I move into my ideal client. So connecting with my ideal client. So I have a vision and a visual. We talked about this in the last episode, but I have a vision in my mind's eye of my ideal client. And all I do is it's literally like I'm picking up the phone to her. Hi, Emily. How you doing? Like, hope you're well. That kind of thing, sending her some love from me to her, for like connecting in with her heart and just asking her, what do you need to hear from me today? Like, what do you need today? What does your soul need?
Yeah, like a bit of a check-in with a bestie.
Yeah,
kind of, right?
And you can do as much or as little as this as you want, you know? But sometimes I'll be hang out with her and be like, what are you not saying, but you're thinking and feeling that I can write about today? Like, what are you really worried about? Like, what's the thoughts that go around in your head? Or like, it might be just like, what's the one thing you need to hear today? You know?
Yeah.
Do you need love and compassion today? Do you need like a kick up the arse today? Do you need somebody to call you out on your own like bullshit? What is it do you need some practical advice today? Like, what is it that you actually need from me today that's going to make you really feel safe that I'm the person to help you with your problems?
And you just let that. So in terms of like the practical way in which you do it, you just sit with that and see what pops up.
Just see what pops up. So
because that's all creativity is, isn't it? 9 times out of 10. Like,
exactly.
I think of myself as a creative.
Yeah.
And I sometimes it's like I go start something and then creativity comes, or I let it come to me and flow. And this is the part which I'm hearing here,
Yeah, we're just creating space.
See what comes to you, yeah.
All entrepreneurs are creative. You think of an offer that you've created that out of your head, you think of a price, you're creating it. You think of your ideal client, you're creating it. You think of starting a business, that's a creative endeavour. Yeah, it is.
Creative,
people think if they're not musical or artistic, they're not creative, but we are all creative.
Such a snob as a musician, aren't I?
So like, it's literally just holding that space for yourself to talk to your ideal client. And then the next thing I do is I just check in with the offer. And it's almost like that's the trifecta, isn't it? It's like, where am I today? Where are you at today? What do I need today? What do you need today? But is this offer that I'm currently selling, is this the right thing for you right now? What do you need to know about it to feel like this is the right thing for you? Do you want to know more about what it is and what it's going to give you? Do you want to know more about the practical side of stuff? Like, what do you need to know about the offer? And is the offer still the right thing for us both to work together on? Because remember, we're putting an offer out, but it's for two people. It's for the person delivering it as well as the person receiving it. So we want to make it right for everybody. And that intention of wanting to make it right for everybody is the process. It's that going into a space of calm and quiet, which a lot of us don't ever do because we think, oh no, I've got to go and meditate for half an hour, otherwise it doesn't count. But having a space and the intention to go, I'm just going to take 3 minutes for myself right now before the day gets in the way. And really being open-minded to what comes. So I don't know how everybody thinks and feels. I only know how I think and feel, right? So for me, it might be a feeling, it might be a visual, it might be a thought, it might be an emotion, it might be words I hear in my head, but I'll just get a feeling, or I'll come out of the 3 minutes, I'll take another deep breath, thank everybody, thank myself, thank the client, thank the offer, come back to myself, bring myself into my day. And I'll have my phone with me.
Right.
Now, I'm one of those entrepreneurs who has a terrible morning routine.
A terrible
I'm one of those entrepreneurs who has a terrible morning routine and a terrible nighttime routine. Like, I get asked this a lot when I'm on stage, but I'm kind of like on panels and stuff. And I was like, I scroll my phone till I fall asleep. I sleep with it under my pillow. Yeah. And I was like, what? I wake up in the morning, I slide it from under my pillow, I start scrolling again. I breathe in and out normally. So I do have my phone attached to me. And I always have my phone there. So if you're not an always got my phone there person, make sure you got your phone with you before you do the practice. Because what I want you to do is do the 3 minute practice and then open your phone up in your platform of choice and start writing.
Right.
And I think that's quite important.
Right.
So instead of coming out of the practice and starting...
Go breakfast and...
Get into with the day, or write it in your notes or write it on a pad, write it into the platform you're posting on right now and then post it.
Right.
And then go back and look at it.
Right.
So don't edit it, don't filter it, don't put friction on it, if that makes sense.
You probably get some pushback on that morning routine.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, like you just said, who is anyone to judge? Go boil your head, really.
Exactly. But I remember waking up one day when my kids were maybe like 6 and 3 and thinking, 6 and 5 and thinking, this is the first day in 7 years I've not woken up to crying or shouting or mom. So I understand not everyone wakes up like a Disney princess and you've got time in the morning. But if you do, then that's the best time to do it, in my opinion. But you can do it any time of the day.
This is what I was going to ask. So I guess the question is this could be done at any time of day, couldn't
Absolutely,
it? Yeah. Like if you do have, chaos in our house with 3 kids that... We had 3 quick, so it's just wild for about 5 years,
Yeah,
But I guess as well there is what I'm hearing is there's a flow to this. There's a system to it, isn't it, that you've discovered, and this kind of having the phone near you. And I guess if someone has some values of, I don't like my phone near me in the morning, I prefer to fine. More of a meditative check-in, or they might have responsibilities for kids. Some people do workouts, some people do whatever, cold showers, whatever it is, meditation. But you can do it your way. Right. That's
so
the message.
Let's say you go to work in an office and that's the first bit of peace you get. Yeah. Before you start doing anything, before you open up your emails, before you open up socials, just sit in your chair and do a 3 minute practice.
Yeah. It can be done anywhere, can't it?
Before you start doing anything, because it's just going to put you, if we talked on previous episodes about above and below the line, and this is very much a below the line thoughts and feelings with a practical above the line element. You put your hand on your heart, you do a couple of deep breaths. Yeah. It's simple, but it is ritualistic in that way. Yeah. But it can be done anyway. You can do it on the bus for all I care. You can do it wherever you want. Find the minutes while the kettle's boiling, while you sat outside your kids' school, wherever it might be. Yeah.
If you're walking the dog, if it's the commute, it's,
And you can do it over and over again. What I would say is, if you find, and I say this to my clients, my private clients, if they come to me in a state of high stress, anxiety, overwhelm, I say, let's do the practice.
Right.
before we do anything else.
Right.
Before we do anything above or below the line, let's just take a minute.
It's like a reset, isn't it?
Yeah, and this can just be a minute. So you can do a 3 minute or a minute or a 5 second. I don't mind. But it's the intention, is that it's the hand on the heart and saying, you know what, I'm going to go in here. And you can do this for anything.
I'm just going to ask that. Like because I'm thinking, I don't want this to sound trite, but like you're Helen, you wake up, you got 2 beautiful kids,
or 4.
4,
Sometimes,
who I've met. And then I'm thinking, if someone's thinking, what don't you think of your baby's face? I mean, obviously yours are a bit older, but like you wake up and you think business straight away. You put your hand on your heart.
But you think self first.
But then I'm thinking, well, what if you did this for family? What if you did this for yourself? Like, what's my health? What's my mindset? What's my soul? What's my spirituality? I want to be today. Then you could check it. I often sort of talk about in my own world. I think, right, I've got 3 silos. This works for me. I just think I've got me, myself, very similar to your concept. I've got family, relationships is what I call it, Lynn, the kids first, then everybody else. And then I have like stuff, work. I just call it work because that's the other part of my day. And but when I'm listening to this, I think you could check in for all 3 of these, because I've got a friend who has a super stressful job. He's an engineer, and he does all manner of weird things. He did like Wimbledon's roof.
Right.
He's one of these guys, it's very stressful, and airports and all this type of stuff. And he does these. He goes in his car, and he's had a few challenges with sort of stress and anxiety. And he has these very meditative, takes some deep breaths, has a check-in, does it his way. It's slightly different to yours, but it's the same concept. This is almost like quite a universal concept, but what you're bringing this to is, because I've never really seen anybody link it to business before. And I think that's what's the unique thing is that you're doing.
And I think for me, it's really linked to content and posting and how you show up.
Yeah, right.
I think you can use it for anything. You can use it for your pricing, for your offers. You can check in.
Yeah.
It's like people will ask me all the time, what do you think of this offer? What do you think of this pricing? And I always push that back now and say, what do you think of it first?
Right.
But I don't mean what do you think of it at above the line level.
Strategically, logically.
On a deeper soul level. What does your soul feel about it? So connect back in,
That's your real default filter now. It's like, hey, what's happening under first? Then, because you could probably see what's happening above in many instances.
I mean, like I said on the previous episode, we can sell anything to anyone, anytime, any price.
Sure.
That's just a marketing strategic problem to fix.
Yeah.
But if the soul isn't aligned, so it's not going to work, or it's not going to feel good.
Yeah.
It might work, but it won't feel good.
Yeah.
Or it might not work and not feel good. So it's never going to feel great because it's just not aligned. So just having this daily practice of checking in is really, it's about a reset and a reconnection with yourself, with your client, with your offer. It's all about alignment. If everything's about alignment and connection, and the more aligned we are, the more connected we are, the better we show up for our clients, we show up for ourselves, the better our offers sell, which is basically what I'm here to do, is to help you make more money. Yeah. That's never going to change. That's my thing,
Yeah.
Like helping people make money is the biggest joy of my life because I know the impact it has. Yeah. So I don't want to I don't want to say this is all about feeling good. This is about feeling good so you're better at business so you can make more money and have more fun.
So here's a question then, and I think this is where people might actually find a connection to this, to move towards considering this and doing this. So what do you see then in people? Not so much what the outcomes are, we'll get to that, but what do you see in people when you can clearly see that this type of, I mean, they might not know about the practice, so that's fine. But what do you see and witness and hear and observe when people aren't under the line, soulful? What's going on with people?
I think what I see is they don't know what to post.
Yep.
They don't know how to show up. They don't know they don't know how to price things. They don't know how to promote things.
Yep.
They don't, so what they do instead is they look externally and they start doing what other people tell them to do, or start doing what they see other people doing.
Right.
So they become an echo of somebody else.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they never really feel aligned with it because they know that they're just doing it because someone told them to do it, or they've seen someone else doing something similar. So they thought, I can just do that. Yeah. But that could be soul and strategically aligned for that person.
Yeah.
And for you, it just doesn't feel right because it's like putting on someone else's shoes, It's like it doesn't fit. So what I see is this feeling of complete paralysis. And these are the people I think that come to me and say, I'm just basically in a freeze state. I'm not really doing anything.
All right, a freeze state.
Yeah, so we've got fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
Yeah.
So freeze is really when you're just not doing anything.
Right.
And it shows up as endlessly scrolling.
Like a wheel spinning
Yeah,
type,
just
No
not going
momentum.
anywhere. Just being in what I call being in the whirlpool. So just going round and round. Usually okay. Usually quite happy, but going round and round, same people, same kind of like results, if you like, really very much at a plateau and not breaking through that.
Yeah.
Because they're either not able or not willing to do something different or do something bolder or braver. But because they don't really feel it, they can't really get behind it.
So would you say then there's a lack of awareness about this stuff?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think because it's been strategy for the last 100 years, right? So everyone just thinks, well, if I get my strategy right and I get my funnel right and I pay for this software and I buy that course and I do that thing, then it's going to work. And most things work to a point. But I think particularly I've seen this with social media. If you really struggle on what to post and you get so caught up in what time should I post? How should I use a picture or not? Should I write this, use these keywords or not? Should I use these hashtags or not? And get so caught up in the tactics and that minutiae of that's going to move the needle by 0.01%.
Yeah.
And forget about the really important stuff, which is, does this speak to my client's soul?
Yeah.
So when people come to me, and I've obviously had it for years with the LinkedIn stuff, it's like, oh, well, I know how the algorithm works because when I post at this time and when it's like, nobody knows how the algorithm works.
Yeah. It's always changing as well, isn't it?
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
There's like probably a handful of engineers at a social media platform that knows how it works. People think they know how it works, but what they know is how to get different results for themselves. But every post on every platform is unique. So, because it's written by a different person with a different personality and different business, different set of values, different everything, on a different platform with a different audience, with a different set of like responses. And that's before you get into what's actually written in the post. So it's like, it's a nonsense really. Anyone who says, I know how to,
bullshit,
it's bullshit. It's, it used to really frustrate me, but about the LinkedIn stuff, because, Stephen Bartlett could write, a load of shite at 2 a.m. and get amazing traction if that's what you're interested in, because of who he is and what he does and how he's shown up for the last 10 years. Mary round the corner, who's joined LinkedIn last week, could write the most insightful post in the world at 1:00 in the afternoon and get no traction because nobody knows who she is or cares who she is. So, anyway, I won't go on.
We're going to get into that.
We're going to get into content.
We're going to get into content.
But I think people get obsessed with what to write instead of who am I talking to. And that's really what I want to fly the flag for is this what my ideal client wants, needs to hear today? And that can be about you as well. So my ideal client needs to see that I am who I say I am. And part of that is documenting my journey and talking about who I am, right? And I think
that's the congruence that we spoke about.
And that's what a lot of people shy away from because they don't really know their ideal client and what they want.
But you also said in one of the previous ones about safety, and I think it creates that, I know it gets a slag in this safe space and in that world, where they're on about bad language and all that. But what the fundamentals of safety in neuroscience, as it were, is if someone is consistent, they're predictable, which I think once you have that prediction, it feels safe. I think when you study neuroscience, if I've understood it right, if there's a lack of prediction, you have threat. But if you have prediction, you have safety. That's because your brain's constantly going, am I safe? Am I safe? So if it can predict something, it's like, well, if you stay on the curb and don't step in front of the bus, you're safe. It's like, I can predict that then. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if it's uncertain, and I think the uncertainty then comes from the consistency, and you are hyper consistent.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole episode about that, aren't we?
Because I think anybody, I'd probably even me could go, I'm not bothered about that Hitch. I've seen all these, I've met Dave. I don't want to see another picture of him, but I can't say anything ill against your consistency. You do what you say you're going to do, and there it is. From a showing up point of view. But I think what the listeners are going to figure out here is, well, how does she do this? And it's not about so-called being consistent, where it's this daily practice.
It's the daily practice that's changed everything for me. The daily practice changed how I felt about how I was showing up. If that makes sense. It's quite hard to explain, but it takes everything from out there and brings it in here.
But what maybe just unpack that a little bit, because people would probably enjoy.
So what I
this
used
bit.
to do is start scrolling social media,
Right?
Yeah, and start consuming content, and then like, oh, I've got to create content before I consume content, because that is one of my mantras. So as soon as I find myself scrolling, I post. Yeah. So I would post, but I would already have been micro influenced by what I'd seen.
Sure.
And everything you see on social media is designed to influence your emotions, right? That's what it's there for. So, if anything, even if I woke up and posted, it was almost already influenced by maybe what I'd seen the day before or the day before that. So, or maybe stuff that happened in my day or my life or seen on the telly, whatever, right? So there's a lot of outside. So what I mean, like, there's a lot of outside influence that changes how you show up. As opposed to, that's all not going to change. That's all out there still. My phone's still full of stuff.
Yeah.
If I go in for 3 minutes and ask my client what they need to hear, I get these incredible insights. So sometimes, like, I had a really interesting one where, and again, you've got to be open to this. You know, so if you hear words in your head, that's how it's being delivered. If you see a picture, that's how it's being delivered. Like, don't try and overanalyze it.
Yeah.
If you don't see anything right now, then that's fine too. But you do it for 21 days and see how things progress,
So
right?
Because
you might be blocking it yourself. And,
there might be some blank days or some resistance days, right?
And some days, if I forget, and I'm like, oh, I feel out of alignment.
Right.
And then when I do it, I'm like, oh, it's easy. I got back in. It's like, it's so easy to do.
The contrast of the two.
I feel like, oh yeah, I'm back kind of thing.
Right.
And that centered feeling of like, this is about me and my ideal client and what I'm selling, not about all of that, all of them, all of those offers out there, all of those non-potential clients. And this is important when it's like below the line stuff. So we talked about refund requests. Like, when I connect in with that and how that makes me feel when I'm in my practice, it's like, she's not your ideal client, and that's okay. Emily loves what you do.
Yeah, she's not asking for a refund.
She's not asking for a refund. Yeah. She's telling all her friends how great you are. And it's almost like that moves me from bottom left to bottom right and allows me to post in a much more positive and proactive manner from that winning energy and not the whining energy of like, oh, people want a refund request and they didn't even complete all the modules and blah, blah, blah. You know, which is just, it's crap. It's amateur stuff to post about that kind of stuff. Real, like, seasoned business owners don't post about that stuff because they know it's just a cost of business and that's the way it is. You can moan about it behind the scenes with your team, with your partner, but you don't post about it publicly. It's just not what we do. You do in the early days. It's like an amateur newbie thing and you get loads of love and sympathy, but
blame, shame, moan and complain.
It's like, or don't name and shame, just be passive aggressive. But it allows me to connect back into who am I? What am I doing? What am I doing here? What am I here to do? What does my client need from me? And it makes what feels a big, overwhelming world feel very small and safe inside of me. Very small and safe, just the three of us.
Yeah.
Me, the client, the offer. That's it. It's only it's very small and it's very safe and it's quiet and dark and I can ask questions and be open to the answers. Yeah. So I had one I was going to say about this one. And I was connected in with Emily and I was like, what are you not saying but you're thinking? And I just got, I think I might have fucked up. But I can't tell anyone because I've given up my massive job and I've done this business and it's doing all right, but I'm not feeling totally aligned. So have I fucked up? Have I done the wrong thing?
Right.
How on earth I couldn't even say that out loud, right? Because I was really bullshit to leave my big job.
You find anybody in real life that actually thinks that, and you go under that surface just a little bit, you find all sorts of stuff.
Well, then I posted about it, and that's one of my biggest, I know I don't post for comments. I'm going to talk about this in the content, but I don't post for comments, but I do post for the vibe, and the vibe that I get sometimes comes from comments, but usually comes from DMs.
Right.
But the most common comment I get when I post in that energy is, it's like you're reading my mind.
There was one post in particular recently where you wrote one, and it wasn't me because you were writing to Emily, and it was, I think you actually said, like, you're in your corporate job at blah, blah, blah. And there was words like this. It totally wasn't about me. And now I know all this because I can remember it. I remember the post. I can remember the feeling I had. I'm like, fucking hell. I almost stepped into Emily's shoes. Yeah. And I could feel it because I do this as a day job. I look for meaning and help people with messaging here and there when they need some help. So as I'm reading that, I'm like, this is really good. You know, because I could see who you were trying to talk to, and I almost tried to live vicariously through this person. But what was bizarre about it, you were writing it so well, I could get into
Yeah,
Do you know
because
what I mean?
me writing to my ideal client on that depth,
Yeah.
which not everyone has to do, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I do because ideal client work is my work.
Yeah.
So it's a dramatic demonstration
Yeah.
of what I do. So although you're not the ideal client in that scenario, you can see the power which shows you that I'm an expert in talking to my ideal client. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's like it's that demonstration of it, yeah.
But I mean it. I tried to get into it because it's, you know, it's what you like embody it, don't you? Like, so to speak. Here's a question. So the way that popping into my head, it's like this faith. That word keeps popping into my head a little bit, almost like I'm not religious. What did you say yesterday?
I am, I was Christian in my 40s,
yeah. So, and I'm not I'm not an atheist either. I'm just like, hey, each their own, you know, fill your wellies. But but it feels like for people who I know who are devout, you know, religionists, is that the right way?
Well, normally to their
people
own,
who have
to
a
their
faith.
own religion, but
people who have a faith. There's an element of that with this. You know, I can feel that coming out of this. I mean, I often sort of said drumming's my religion.
Yeah.
But when I talk about drumming with other drummers or other musicians, for example, it's not a million miles from what you're talking about.
No, it's a cult, isn't it? It's a devotional cult.
Yeah, there's sometimes no words. We're just looking at each other, nodding, going, oh, like, you know.
Because it's ritualistic and it's got, you know, all the same sort of things, shared language, shared values and all that.
There's an element to this,
There's an element of that, yeah. It's almost like you have to have faith in the practice though. And the practice is part of you, so you have to have faith with yourself.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to that self-connection and self-awareness that is transformative in how you show up as an entrepreneur, in my opinion. Because when you have faith in yourself, then you show up in a whole different way.
Absolutely.
But when you have faith in yourself, other people have faith in you.
Yeah.
It starts with you.
It's magnetic, isn't it? Yeah. It's a very attractive quality, I think.
Yeah, it's intoxicating to people who are feeling overwhelmed and uncertain. They want to be with someone be around someone who is certain of who they are and what they do.
There's like a frigging telepathic thing coming through because you say words that I'm thinking at the moment. I was just going to say, is that about certainty?
It is about certainty, but the certainty comes from within.
Yeah, which, by the way, we are doing oh no, it's consistency that we have in the
consistency,
episode.
but it comes part of that.
The other C word.
So I think really to sum up this section is give it a go. Mm-hmm. This is the theme of the podcast. It's just humour me. If it seems like a nonsense, do it anyway.
People do 21-day ice bath challenges. People do 5-day challenges. You know, like in business. This try this. What I'm hearing you saying is try this consistently for a short period of time, and then be the judge of it.
Yeah, 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes a day, anytime, anywhere, any place. You can find 3 minutes a day.
Yeah. I think testament to this is I've been watching your feed recently and you've been very specific about the results that you've been sharing, which is a lot of the stuff, well, all of the stuff that we're talking about here. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you know, when you, sorry about that, everybody, but when you go down and you read all of these, you're like, this is proof, this is evidence. I mean, you're not just the single advocate of this. There are people doing this who you've shown how to do this and they're getting these types of results that they want, aren't they? The proof is there in the pudding.
Nobody does the practice and goes, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Everybody does the practice and goes, wow, that was great. You know, it's not going to harm you. It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
It's never going to do you, you know, and there's no negatives to spending 3 minutes a day connected in your own heart space, you know, whether you believe it or not, you know, even if it's just 3 minutes of quiet, give yourself that gift as an entrepreneur and stop filling the silence with noise all the time. You know, when we go in, we can hear what our soul's trying to tell us and we can check in with our own alignment. We talked about micro alignments yesterday on the last episode. And it's just incremental small steps. So if you give yourself a minute a day, 2 minutes a day, and then 3 minutes a day, only good can come from that. Like even on a physiological level.
Yeah.
Because what we do instead is we get up, we go, busy, busy, and we're scared of being quiet. That's why we eat so much and drink so much and exercise so much and work so much and, read and listen. And it's like, can't just be in the silence. So giving yourself the gift of 3 minutes silence a day, you can't go wrong with that.
It's a low price, isn't it, to pay, to
it's
invest
free.
in. Yeah, it's free.
It's free. It takes 3 minutes. You don't have to buy anything from me to do it. Like, it's a gift from me to you. So try it. And really, from this episode, this is the one I really want to hear how people are getting on. How does this shift things for you? Like, how does this change the way you show up as an entrepreneur for yourself, for your client and for your offer? Like, how does it make you feel knowing you've got this? For me, it's given me a real sense of, it's almost like my secret weapon. It's like, when I feel myself getting stressed or tired or overwhelmed or triggered or I'm in the bottom left, and I see things and I want to respond to things, I remind myself I've got that, and I give myself 3 minutes, and it changes everything for me.
Where did it come from? What was the origin?
Oh God, where did it come from? That's a really good question, because like most things, it just appeared in my life. I don't even know. I don't even know the answer to that. I feel like I should have a better answer than that.
Just fell into it. Well,
I just fell into it.
Yeah.
I think I've always been into like manifesting and visualizing. So I've kind of always built that in. But that was always like for big things and like the future things. Whereas this is for little things and day-to-day things. So I've kind of just adapted it for today. It's that real like just for now, not forever vibe of like just for today, how am I feeling? Just for today, what does my client need? And just for today, what does my offer want to look like?
I wonder, I mean, even if someone is, let's say someone's not in the business vibe right now, but they're listening to this. I'm just going to say it, but I would suggest, well, all right, whatever's top of your tree at the moment, might be family, might be your personal health and self stuff. Do it for that. Do a little step for that.
I would say if you've got a decision to make, do it for that.
Yeah.
If you're not showing a decision,
it's very universal, isn't it? It could be used in all aspects of life.
If you find yourself asking other people and looking outwards for something, like what should I do about this, or what do you think about this, then that's your sign to go in and ask yourself.
What's the phrase? If you don't go within, you go without.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of the phrase. Yeah. There you go. Is that everything for this one?
I think this is it for this one.
Yeah. Anything to add?
Just want everyone to try it and report back.
Yeah. And what is it again? Email for?
Yeah, if you hate it, send an email. If you love it, drop a comment or send me a DM.
A DM. There you go. All right. Okay. We're out of here. Good one. Excellent one.
Thanks, Bart.